Our goal in this introduction is to enter and then shorten vertical lines. Vertical lines are going to be of the pattern x equals a number. That's what these first two equations are set up to be. So my first goal is to match this line segment right here. To get a precise estimate, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I'm looking at that line segment and then make my best guess as to where I think this number should be. Now, as I look at my scale down here, that's 0.5, that's 1. So each of these little divisions is counting by 0.1. So it looks like my line is just a little bit past 0.9. So I'm going to start with 0.9. Excuse me. I'm going to make it a little thicker and easier to see, and change the color also so it's easier to see. To change the color, just click and hold the circle in front of your equation and you may choose a different color. So 0.9 is a little bit to the side of where I want to be. So let's just try a larger value until we find one that kind of splits that black line right down the middle. I think I like a 9.2 or a 9.3. I may even go 9.25. Look at that. You can add as many decimals as you like. Once your vertical line is where you want it, it's now time to shorten that line. To do that, we need to use restrictions. Restrictions come in braces. Those are the curly looking parentheses at the end. In a vertical line, you have to restrict based on height. Now, the portion of the line that I want to keep is from this height up to that height. In your restrictions, you tell the computer what part of the line you want to keep. So I want to keep y values that are above, so greater than, this height right here, which looks to be just a little bit past 2. So I'll start with 2. And as I'm looking at my line segment, it's going down a little low. How about 2.1? How does that look? 2.1 is now a little too high. My segment's not going down far enough. So let's try 2.05. Looks pretty good. Close off your brace. We're now ready to cut off the top end of the line. Now, when you're doing an upper restriction, we want to keep the y values that are below a certain level. So that level looks to be about 4. Each of my boxes here is counting by 0.2. So 4.2, 4, 6. I'm going to start with 4.6. And that's not bad. It's maybe a little bit high. So how about 4.5? Well, that's not high enough. 4.55, 5.6, and I'm just deleting, kind of guessing and checking until I find something I think looks good. There you go. I think I like that one. Now, with all of your lines, once you've made them, make sure you click this Save button. Your work does not save automatically, so log in, make sure your name shows up here, and then save your work. Let's go again, this time with the vertical line right here. Now, I've zoomed in a little too much. I'm going to zoom back out just a tad. Okay. So first I want to set my position. So if this is 0 and 1, so this is 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, so just a little bit before 0.6. I'm again going to make my line orange so it's easier to see. 0.5 isn't far enough yet. 0.6 is a little too far, so 0.55. That actually looks really good. So I'm going to leave it there. Now there's a second way you can write your restrictions. And I personally like this way just because I have to type less. You can do both of your restrictions at once. So I'm going to start by putting less than y less than. So this is called a compound inequality. It's two inequalities at once. And then here, you just put the lowest height of your line. So let's see. I'm going to start with about a 2.2. At the other side, so 2.2 is less than y. So that means I want the y's above 2.2. And now I'm going to put in my upper limit. I want them to stop at about, I don't know, 4.2 is going to be my first guess. And notice it gives you that line segment now. You're just saying, where do I want the line to start? And where do I want the line to end? Now, my numbers I chose weren't great, so I'm going to now adjust them. How about 2.3? 2.3 looks pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave 2.3 for the low end. And then on the high end, 4.2 is a little bit too high. How about 4.1? That's not high enough. Oops, 4.15, a little bit too high. How about 4.13 looks pretty good. And so there I go. I have my vertical lines. Now, when you're doing your restrictions, I don't care which way you do. If you like the first way where you do the bottom and the top separately, that's all good. If you like the compound inequality way, where you put in the low end and the high end with two less than symbols, that also is okay. And as always, make sure the last thing you do is save that